What's up, guys? Alexander here. Another review coming. And this time we're doing Sergeant Frog. Throwback to the early 2000s from Tokyopop. Written and illustrated by Mine Yoshizaki. Ah, man. This one takes me back quite a bit. I didn't actually quite read it back then too much, but I do remember seeing it around. And a lot of people talking about it, saying how funny it was. And I'm glad I finally got into it a little later. It's so funny. Um, So, uh, for the plot, it might sound a little familiar if you're into like Invader Zim. The story revolves around a small family. My name is Fuyuki Hinata and his older sister Natsumi Hinata, and well, I guess it's their mom too, which I can't quite remember the name of her now. But one day after Fuyuki wakes up from having his dream of aliens invading Earth, his sister plays a prank on him, telling him that there's an alien in their house. And wouldn't you know it, that's when they accidentally uncover hidden Sergeant Frog here, aka or Coral, Sergeant Coral, aka Sergeant Frog, and so then they have pretty much somewhat battling him and taking away some of his technology in order to communicate with his other uh, allies off Earth and trying to invade Earth and pretty much now run him ragged doing chores and things like that while he tries to scheme sort of to take over the Earth, which he's not that good at. Um, and oh man, this series is so funny. Um, I think I'm not quite sure if anybody knows if this came out before Invader Zim, but you know, there's some parallels there. Pretty sure very unintentional, but it definitely reminds me of it a bit because it's very referential too. That's where a lot of the comedy comes from, is just the wacky scenarios which they find themselves in with their technology and the clashing of their cultures and things like that. And a lot of them, lots and lots of references to like things, everything from Gundam to Evangelion to even Parara the Rapper, and things in Dragon Ball Z and all that. So it's got a lot of those. Um, in this, and that's pretty much the basic plot. You know, alien trying to take over Earth, hijinks ensue with this small family. And they come closer as a result because of because of his inability to actually take over, or maybe even want to take over it as it goes on. Anyway, um, as for the art, as you can see right there in front, is kind of classic. It reminds me very much of like a old like a Pokemon or Digimon, like kind of like a art style. Gives it a very kind of kiddish, kind of like lean, but it also is a little more like, I guess, a little more adult, you know, than those maybe. Although I've read no crazy stories about the Pokemon anime, but it is a little tad on the etchy side. Some panty shots, some cleavage here and there, but nothing too terrible in my opinion. Let's see. But yeah, I really like the art for that matter because I really like those series growing up. So, and it can be pretty detailed when it wants to be. Lots of really great shading and lighting when it really tries to be a bit more like dramatic. Let's see. But and just like a lot of these comedies, there really isn't like a really like heady theme or anything. It's just good fun referential comedy. And it's one of the first that I remember actually reading like this, where when I read it, I had watched or read a lot of the other series that they're referring to. So some of them I didn't quite get, but having now watched not all of them, I didn't get all. I still don't get a lot of the references that they make here, but they do make some references to some of the bigger series, like I mentioned earlier. So it makes it that much more funny. Um, but to the negatives, which kind of ties into what I just said, because of that, and because this is an older series, they make a lot of references to older series that some people, younger fans might not get. And even then, but they're not like totally over the head, I think. I'm pretty sure, for anybody that's familiar with older series, this is, no big deal. But again, knowing the references definitely makes it a bit more funny. So if you're not into it, some of the stuff might go over your head. But in conclusion, I think it's pretty funny. The fun art style, you know, quote unquote, lots of references. It's not a big deal, and it's just a classic of its kind of like referential humor comedy that I definitely recommend. For any of those that are into that. Yeah, and that's gonna be it for today. Talk to you guys later. See you.